Hi, I'm Ray Baylor. I'm a community advocacy, community resource person who broker resources for a neighborhood that's been undergoing change. The historic Midtown Edmondson community is a very unique place. I settled here some 30-some years ago. I came from a place that reminded me of what had been taken from me through an urban renewal process out of the state capital, Annapolis, Maryland. And so just trying to find self and space over a period of time, I settled here in Baltimore, which is some 30 miles maybe north of that city. And then because of some of, I would say, the trauma associated with the urban renewal issues, I began to work diligently in community and realized that during the time of change, you can be participatory in trying to make for, well, what I would consider a better change. I guess the process of understanding redlining over years began to share with me the desire to make for a better way of bringing about newer communities when another community has ceased in time. And so there's that. To me, it's almost like a rub. There's always opposition. One party or one group wants one thing for something, and someone else and others want something else. And what we've found in this neighborhood, as we too try to gather stories, that are people who are still here. Some have been able to gain and control property. Some have not, but yet their spirit and bodies are still here. And some review them as being resistant. And they, I think, see themselves as being resilient, as they are trying to be a part of the change. While all of this happening, just today I came here and it's very difficult to even find a parking space for all of the construction or pre-construction that's going on for a new tunnel or two tunnels that's coming as a result of Amtrak needing to modernize, I'd say, its transit efforts. However, it's having impact here in Baltimore and more specifically in historic Midtown Edmondson, as they're going to be coming out of that tunnel and then traveling on land, needing to have two tunnels, needing to kind of improve or actually do away with probably like maybe 1/5 of this neighborhood, as they are taking away properties and businesses and things like that in order for their change to happen. Meanwhile, I think it seems that we are in the midst and the precipice of a new way of doing some of what they perceive they need to be done. And so I was very happy when the opportunity came for us to be able to be somewhat in the motion of things that happen during the time of change, such as, air quality. So here in Baltimore, it's an industrial-based city, and just one of our neighbors happens to be Flanagan Asphalt Company, and they have what we call man-made mountains that exist at various heights. But what is mostly disturbing about that is that the particulate material that actually flow throughout our area. Baltimore is interesting because Baltimore has a lot of industrial waste associated, and one of the concerns is lead. And so as all of this reconstruction or deconstruction is happening, so too does the particulate material of lead blow throughout our area. And it's interesting, I've worked a little bit with public health. In community work, most of the time you have to have a myriad of activities that you're involved with. Here of late, there's a lot of discussion about the social determinants of health. And so one of the essential things, as we know, to be able to live is to breathe. And having to be a part of this project, to be able to be sensitive to air quality and to be able to capture it for creating data so that you begin to really be able to kind of see in your neighborhood, right at the bottom. This is kind of a real bottom-up response that, we really need. We're all around a lot of people that have all kinds of skills that we're blessed with, I guess what you say, with Johns Hopkins, University of Maryland, and various other social health dynamics. But it's not until it gets down to the neighborhoods, and especially as we are looking at brown and Black people that are very much adversely affected by just regular health things, but because of the trauma that have existed for generations, it's my understanding that, their health, our health, is much more impacted. So by having resources that have come from this collective to come before and to come down into a place like this that's undergoing change, but to be able to have your data to suggest and to say, hey, listen, the activity that's right outside of our door, it would be much more helpful if you did not necessarily use diesel machines. It'd be good if you had electric vehicles because of the fact that, as you know, I should hope, adjacent to the work that you do, and especially at the higher levels of your business, you should be aware that you are affecting health in what it is that you do. And I think as we are a collective into this American experiment, we should be trying as best we can to make for a better world for us all, right? So sometimes what you do have an effect on what we are trying to do, and especially when it's in and around an urban area, which is much more concentrated. So here again, guys like me, girls like me, people that are into trying as best we can to fit in amongst the change that's happening, you have to wear many, many hats. You have to be in many, many places. And so what happened to me is that I believe that there are other ways to look at resources, and especially in your neighborhood.